Hi, this is Andre. I want to talk about the replace interface mode on the Echoplex Digital Pro. The last few videos we've been talking about interface modes, which are accessed on the bottom parameter row under the record column. By default, you have four interface modes. You have loop, delay, expert, and stutter. Those are the four interface modes that you automatically have if you don't have anything plugged into the rear panel feedback jack. If you do, then you get an additional four interface modes that only show up if there's something plugged into the feedback jack. Those are output, input, replace, and flip. We're going to be talking about the replace interface mode in this video. So I will go into a lot of geeky detail shortly, but to start with, I'm going to show how it works in the most basic sense. So here's a chord, turn off overdub, and here's replace interface mode. So in the most basic sense, the replace interface mode attenuates output volume and feedback at the same time. So if I bring it all the way down, you don't hear anything. And if I move the pedal in the middle of something, then you can impose volume swells into it. And if I keep it all the way down, then we get rid of the entire loop. Let me overdub a little bit. So and now I'm going to use the volume pedal to attenuate the replace interface mode while I'm overdubbing. And so on and so forth. So the replace interface mode attenuates output volume and feedback at the same time. Let's review feedback and output volume briefly, just so that we can really understand what's going on. I'm changing the interface mode back to loop mode. That's the default setting. I'm going to record my same major 7 sharp 11 chord because I'm trying really hard to not just play open string drones in these videos. There's my major 7 sharp 11 chord. Close overdub. Now, if I bring the pedal down a little bit, you don't hear anything immediately, but then you can see it starts fading out. Feedback controls how many repetitions you get within the loop. And when you have the loop interface mode accessed, the volume pedal controls the feedback of the loop. A lot of the interface modes do that as well. I'm going to use undo to get rid of that feedback swell. Oh, I got rid of the first overdub. Okay. Time to play another major 7 sharp 11. I think we can all agree that one was far superior. Now, you can also imprint volume swells inside a loop, but you don't hear it until the next time afterwards. So if I play some stuff, so you're not actually hearing the effect of feedback until the next repetition of the loop after you've used it. In previous videos, I've referred to this as a soft replace type of function. And now feedback is at 0, so you only get one repetition of whatever you played. If you bring it up to a middle range, then you get a just decaying sound on sound kind of thing, where the old layers gradually fade out. And if you bring it back all the way, then it stays at 100% feedback. So you can see you can still get those volume swell effects with the pedal, but you don't hear it until the next iteration of the loop. Now let's compare that to output, where the pedal regulates just the output level of the loop. So this isn't actually doing anything destructive to the loop the way that the replace interface mode or the loop interface mode does. All this is doing is attenuating the output level of the loop. And it's just the loop itself, because you can hear if I play over the top, it doesn't affect my live input signal at all. This just affects how loud the output level of the loop itself is. And you can hear if I do the back and forth thing, it cuts the volume in and out, but it doesn't actually change the content of the loop the way feedback does. And if I overdub stuff on it, you're not going to get a soft replace function. You're going to get a gradual buildup of many layers. So I'm not actually imposing any kind of volume swells into the loop as I'm doing this. And as you can hear, the sound is getting gradually denser and more complex because feedback is up all the way, and the pedal isn't doing anything to feedback, so you're going to keep getting a build. Now let's switch the interface mode back to replace mode. And now we're doing both feedback and output level at the same time. So it's attenuating the feedback like we would in the loop interface mode, but it's also dropping the output level at the same time. So you hear the effect of it immediately. It's not like feedback where you have to wait for the next iteration. You hear the change immediately. And if we open up Overdub, you can get the same kind of thing happening. That kind of idea. And so on and so forth. Now you may rightly ask, if the volume pedal in the replace interface mode is attenuating output level and feedback at the same time, what does the front panel feedback knob do? Let's find out. Record another loop with another jazzy yet exotic chord that is not an open string drone. Lovely. I'm sending this one out to Alex Lifeson. So if we bring the feedback knob down, nothing happens. That's because in the replace interface mode, the feedback knob actually does the overdub balance substitute replace function hack that we talked about a couple of videos earlier. So if you switch the insert mode to substitute, and then you press it, if feedback is all the way to the right, the front panel feedback knob is all the way to the right, then it overdubs. If the feedback knob is all the way to the left, it does a regular substitute, where it overwrites the content of the loop for however long you hold down the button, but you don't hear the effect until the next iteration after you press the button. And if you have it somewhere in the middle, you get an intermediate effect, where it drops the volume of the loop when you use substitute, but it doesn't override it completely. And you can also do the quantized overdub technique in the replace interface mode. I'm going to move feedback all the way. No, I'm not. I was going to say I was going to get rid of this content, but then I remembered that all I have to do to get rid of content in the replace interface mode is this. Very nice. So quantize is set to 8th. Insert mode is set to substitute. So this will be substitution. Oh, I have to push it with my thumb, that's right. So that's a quantized overdub effect because the feedback knob is all the way to the right, so it's not overriding anything. What is my 8th per cycle set to? 6? Yeah, okay. And if I move the feedback knob all the way to the left, then it completely overwrites everything. Don't play the open string, Andre. Ooh, that's sharp. Okay, play the open string. Okay. But it's not really a drone, right? So you can also do the quantized overdub technique if you are in replace mode as well as stutter mode. Now let's say you're in the replace interface mode, but you want to do more conventional, traditional stuff with feedback. I'm going to bring the pedal down a little way. And now we're going to get the classic gradual decaying sound. Where each subsequent repetition of an overdub gets gradually quieter. You can bring it back up to 100% if you want to lock the loop there. If you bring it all the way down, you don't get zero feedback. That's because the pedal is attenuating feedback, but it's also attenuating output level. So even though feedback is down all the way, and even though overdub is open, the output level is also down all the way. As far as I'm aware, that's the one feedback-related technique that you don't have. You can't really put it into zero feedback unless you have a MIDI controller. You can totally change feedback independently of the pedal if you send a MIDI command, a continuous controller command, to whatever the CC value is for feedback, which is going to be located on the second parameter row from the top under feedback control. Right now I'm using continuous controller number 1. So if you really want to be able to go into zero feedback but still be in the replace interface mode, then you could do it that way. You could also do this. Build up something. And let's say I really want to go into zero feedback. You can change the interface mode while it's playing. Let's go to loop mode for a second. Overdub back open. And then we're back to 100%, and now I can go back to any of the interface modes, really, but let's go back to the replace interface mode. I'm in E again, sorry guys. Well, let's do something other than E, Dorian. That kind of thing. So that is the replace interface mode on the Echoplex Digital Pro. Thank you as always so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I will talk to you guys again very soon. Bye-bye.